10 News begins with breaking news.
A large, heavy tree branch falling onto a popular restaurant patio in the heart of Carlsbad tonight. A near disaster on this summer night. Good evening. I'm Steve Atkinson.
And I'm Kimberly Hunt. 10 News reporter Cassie Carlisle is live, and she just talked to a woman who saw it all happen. Cassie?
Yeah, absolutely terrifying for that woman and her friend who were meeting up out here just to grab dinner and some drinks. We're out here on State Street in front of Vigalucci's. I'm actually standing on their porch, and right behind me is where that branch came crashing down. Just minutes ago, the city workers cleared out the entire area that was just filled with leaves and branches. Now it's all just chips. So let's show you what it looked like earlier. Around 9 o'clock is when the call went out, and tonight this popular area was just packed. I spoke with a witness in the area who said that they heard a loud crack, and then they had a front row seat watching the branch crash down. They were in shock, just thankful they hadn't left a moment sooner. Then people erupted around them.
I'd say at least 5 to 10 men came and ran and were checking like under the trees and saying like, call out if you need help. And then actually a restaurant worker came out and was like, oh, it's okay, you know, that patio is only used for lunch service. But I mean, there were tons of people out there, so thank God no one got hurt.
So thankful again that nobody was out here on this patio. There was a truck that was parked here that did suffer some minor damage to the roof, but they are working on getting that taken care of. This is a city tree, you guys, so that's why city workers were out here assessing the damage. And when we spoke with that woman, she said that she's been here multiple times and that branch has never looked suspicious to her. So again, thankful no one was hurt out here tonight. Reporting live here in Carlsbad, Cassie Carlisle, 10 News.
Cassie, thank you. We will alert our 10 News viewers to any more updates in that breaking story on our 10 News mobile app. There's a free version available in the App Store. Just search 10 News. Community members and loved ones gathered in Santa Barbara today to remember the 34 people that died on the Conception boat fire Labor Day.
These 34 lights and scuba cylinders before you here represent our brother and sister divers who did not make it home that night.
The vigil was organized by the City of Santa Barbara, representatives from the community wellness team, the dive community, and chaplains from the faith community. They offered words of condolences and support.
The owners of the boat Conception that caught fire, killing 34, have filed a lawsuit to prevent wrongful death suits. Well, the victims' families will now be given a short time to join a single federal case against the owners. The Limitation of Liability Act of 1851 provides 3 possible outcomes. The owners of Truth Aquatics would be clear of liability if they can prove the disaster happened suddenly and without their knowledge and something was wrong. Well, the second outcome could be this.
The vessel owner is liable to these people, but its liability is capped at the value of the vessel after the disaster, which let's call it effectively zero.
And the third possible outcome, the families would be able to sue if they can prove the owners knew of the boat's safety deficiencies but chose to proceed with the voyage.
The Santa Barbara Coroner's Office has been using rapid DNA to identify the victims. They are matching the victims with DNA samples from family members. As of now, only 18 have been positively identified. It's the same technology used to identify victims of the Camp Fire last year.
And investigators are dealing with rough weather, making it difficult to raise the wreckage of the Conception. High winds and big waves are putting the integrity of the boat and people in jeopardy. The longer the boat is in the water, the more it's exposed to the elements and the harder it's going to be to resurface.
Tonight, firefighters are making progress on the Tinaja fire in La Cresta and Murrieta. CAL FIRE says that tonight all evacuation warnings have now been lifted. Right now, the Tinaja fire is still about 2,000 acres with 25% containment. And according to CAL FIRE, 1 firefighter suffered a non-life-threatening injury. 2 structures received some minor damage in that fire.
They didn't just steal my dog. They stole happiness from me.
A dog taken from an owner's yard, a stranger in a hood captured on camera, appearing to leave with his beloved pet. And he spoke with 10 News reporter Anthony Pura about how a neighbor tried to stop the suspicious man.
Grayson's owner will never forget the day he got him.
It was probably one of the greatest days.
That was just 2 months ago, but more than enough time to become inseparable.
And then if you get high-pitched voice and you're like, oh, come on, come on, come on, he'll get excited and then he'll know it's okay.
But Jaden doesn't know if Grayson is okay. This is security video from the Valencia Park home Tuesday morning, the last time he saw his French bulldog. You can see Grayson walk over to the fence, then the footage jumps to show a hooded man who appears to walk away with Grayson. Jaden says the video is missing 3 to 4 minutes of footage that likely would have caught the guy's face.
I'm angry, really, that the camera didn't pick it up or that there was an error with the video clip being picked up, because my camera picks up everything.
But a neighbor saw what happened in those missing minutes. He says he saw the stranger reach over this fence, pet Grayson, and then take him. You can hear the neighbor yelling at the man and then briefly see him chase after him.
He told me that he tried to run after him and he's 54 years old. He was no match for him, so he ended up getting away.
Neighbors thought they saw the same hooded guy walking around their neighborhood the day before. Jaden says French bulldogs are expensive, so they're enticing for thieves. He wouldn't be surprised if the guy was casing his block.
And he had that same exact collar on, same exact tag.
Jaden is now putting up flyers hoping someone has some information about his dog or the man in the video.
I put out water every night hoping somebody might just drop him off, bring him back, but nothing.
In Valencia Park, Anthony Pura, 10 News.
A weakened Hurricane Durian made its first U.S. landfall this morning over Cape Hatteras, North Carolina. People there saw nearly 14 inches of rain and wind gusts up to 100 miles per hour. The storm surge knocked out power, leaving many homes and businesses underwater. First responders flew in to help the estimated 800 residents who didn't evacuate. And farther north, officials are keeping an eye on Durian as it moves past the Jersey Shore.
Everybody's just standing by watching the track of the storm so that there's no changes. We don't really stop watching it until it gets past our latitude.
Bahamian officials confirmed tonight the number of dead from Hurricane Dorian now stands at 43. That number is expected to rise significantly.
We feel it's important to just teach kids how to be themselves.
For the first time, we're hearing from the 2 drag queens scheduled to read children's books at a library in Chula Vista next week. Our 10 News reporter Matt Boone spoke to them tonight at a fundraiser in Barrio Logan about the controversy their event has sparked. Matt.
Steve, this was all sparked a few weeks ago. We've heard a lot from the opposition, but tonight, as you mentioned, this is the first time we're hearing from those 2 drag queens who will be doing the reading. Tonight, they performed at a fundraiser here in Barrio Logan, and while they won't be doing any dancing in front of the children, they do say it's important not only to teach a passion for reading, but to let those kids know they can be comfortable being themselves.
The wigs, the dresses, the makeup, all part of a carefully choreographed performance.
I look towards drag as a way of healing.
That's Raquelita, her stage name, who was first approached by a friend at the Chula Vista Library to do a reading.
We wanted to kind of take our art and kind of expose it to families because we feel like it's important to normalize drag.
She says there's a broader lesson too.
We feel it's important to just teach kids how to be themselves.
Also reading is drag queen Barbie Q.
I think it's important to keep the focus on what the outcome of this whole activity is, which is to center the kids around like a literacy activity.
Whatever the intent, the idea of drag queens reading to kids has been swept up in a series of protests.
It's not inclusive. It's actually excluding a popular segment of our community.
Pastor Amado Huizar says he's got nothing against drag queens, but doesn't consider it appropriate for them to be reading to young kids at a public library.
I think finding the place where everyone can feel comfortable and everyone can feel safe, that would be great.
Raquelita says that's exactly the type of mindset they're hoping to change.
I've learned that we all carry internalized homophobia, so we all have seen and heard messages about how the LGBT community is wrong or sinful, and so we gotta check that.
Barbie Q wishing there were more mentors like them when she was young.
For me, growing up in San Diego was really challenging. My family's Latino, so we had a lot of machismo growing up, and it prevented me from really being myself.
Now, Pastor Huizar says he's meeting with the mayor of Chula Vista on Monday, but so far the library has maintained support of the event. They still plan on hosting it so far on Tuesday. Reporting live in Barrio Logan, Matt Boone, 10 News.
Matt, thank you. Health officials are warning of the dangers of e-cigarettes. Today, LA County public health officials confirmed a death connected to vaping-related illnesses.
We join with the Centers for Disease Control to advise people to stop vaping now.
The CDC says it's working to investigate what seems like a surging number of lung illnesses linked to e-cigarettes. So far, there are more than 450 reported cases across 33 states. Officials say patients with the illnesses typically have flu-like symptoms and shortness of breath.
I'm 18 years old. My lungs are like a 7-8-year-old's.
Some lawmakers are now calling on the FDA commissioner to take action on what they're calling a vaping epidemic.